Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles market update. Today is Wednesday, the 8th of January, 2025. I am Gianni DePoci, your host, and we are back for our weekly updates after a couple weeks off. We like to take a little bit of time off at the end of the year to kickstart the new calendar. And it's been a pretty interesting start to the year. A lot of Martian signatures, and it's been a very Martian start to the year, and I'll explain what I mean about that in just a moment. But Mars is retrograde right now, and we're seeing stocks kind of chop around. Yesterday we had the moon in Aries, so it was a very Martian tone to the tape in stocks. And it was also Tuesday, which is the day of Mars. So a very volatile day yesterday in the stock market. But we started off the calendar year with an opposition between Mars that's retrograding to Pluto. And then this week we had Mars retrograde back into the sign of Cancer. And then we will have Mars forming a trine to Neptune in just a few days here. So there's been a lot of Martian rhetoric circulating just in the world at a mundane level right now between territorial expansion in the United States and just a lot of rhetoric unfolding. There's also the wildfires in California. Cancer has to do with the home, the land, the real estate. So definitely seeing the Martian themes on that front between what's happening in California and what's happening in some of the rhetoric from political leaders in regards to the United States territory. So, stocks have been chopping around. We still are seeing this low from the 20th of December hold here. And it's a really interesting setup. This could mark an important turning point for stocks, especially when it comes to the NASDAQ, because we saw the NASDAQ take out that low from the 20th of December and make a new low on the 2nd of January, creating what's called a case of intermarket bullish divergence. And, we're going into Sun trine Uranus next week on the 13th, which will be followed by Venus square Jupiter. And then we have another Mars aspect in the Sun opposite Mars on the 15th of January. So I don't think the rhetoric is going to tone down just yet, but it is impacting markets. Uranus does rule technology. It does rule breaks of support and resistance. So I'd be keeping a close eye out here on the NASDAQ 100 here, especially if it can break above resistance. But otherwise, we have to leave the door open for a break to support. But, these lows that we saw over the last couple of weeks could turn out to be important from a cyclical standpoint going forward. I think a lot of the turbulence in stocks has to do with what's happening in bonds and interest rate markets right now. We had that opposition between Mars that's retrograde with Pluto, and that failed to lead to a strong reversal to the upside in the bond market. But we do have an interesting setup. You don't see it here, but you do see it in the futures market. The 30-year bond did take out that low from April 2024, but the 10-year note did not. So perhaps Venus square Jupiter will have an impact on interest rate markets next week. But we did continue to see the strength in the dollar yen hitting new cycle highs here. The euro continues to struggle, not far away from reaching par or break even. There are a couple cyclical scenarios in the euro that we are watching right now, but it does appear that the trend is firmly in the camp of the bears. And unless Venus can lead to a reversal here with the square between Venus and Jupiter, there may be some continuing problems. We did also have Venus move into the sign of Pisces recently, and we've noticed a theme over the last several months in the euro where whenever Venus moves into a mutable sign, we see important cyclical turning points. So this could end up being a low of significance here on of January, which is when Venus moved into the sign of Pisces. Keep in mind that Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces as well. So right now it does seem that the trend in currencies is still in the camp of the dollar. You take a look at crude oil. We had a nice rally over the last couple of weeks in the energy space, but it does look like a lower high may be in the cards here, and that would also help interest rates see some relief. That is, if energy starts to decline, that would help see bonds recover a little bit. So that's something that we continue to watch here as well. Precious metals also seeing a bit of a nice rally here. You know, we had that interesting setup between gold and silver as well. Silver making a new low while gold did not. Still struggling to sustain a rally at this point, but I know that Ray and Derek had a really deep dive into what's happening in gold and silver during the options webinar last month. So check that out if you haven't already. I think that the setup for metals still looks to be pretty strong overall. And then, of course, what's been happening in the cryptocurrency space. You know, Bitcoin had a really strong run up into that high in mid-December, but it's basically just been going sideways. And I think from a technical standpoint, we would want to see that continue because, as a rule, any market that rallies too fast is prone to drop just as fast. So some more sideways action here in Bitcoin would be welcome. Similar with Ethereum. You know, MMTA graduate Chris Lindahl had pointed out before how Mars and Cancer tends to lead to 20% or greater moves in Bitcoin. And we have Mars and Cancer now, but Mars is retrograde at the moment. So it may take until when Mars goes direct to see a move like that play out. And that won't be until the end of February. So something to be aware of in this market right now. The volatility could continue, but after an impressive to the end of the year like we saw in 2024, it may be better to just lay low, take it easy right now until we get through these heavy Martian aspects over the next week. But that's basically what we're seeing right now in this tape. I appreciate you watching this video. Please hit the like and the subscribe button. We will start to bring some guests back onto the program after our most recent break. We do have the MMA cycles report set to be released next week, so check that out. Details can be found at www.mmacycles.com. That is our flagship report in publication for over 40 years, where we offer our updates and outlook on stocks, bonds, currencies, commodities, and more. And we are also introducing a new report here at MMA written by MMTA graduate Vibka Held on technology stocks. So be sure to check that out and stay tuned for announcements on that front. And we're excited to share that exciting report with you. So that's all for now, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you same time, same place next week.